Coming up next on the Retirement Halftime Show, understanding annuities. Recent updates have changed how families are using the contract to generate income well into retirement. Then, some of the most common mistakes when creating an estate plan. Plus, starting a business to become your own boss. What you need to know about the startup phase before pouring your life savings into a dream. And Andrea Moorhead reports on the organization teaming students with mentors. How strangers are teaching life lessons. Now on the Retirement Halftime Show.
You wouldn't play a game the second half the same way you would the first, especially if you had the lead. This is the Retirement Halftime Show, helping you maintain your lead in retirement.
Welcome to the Retirement Halftime Show. I'm Heather McWilliams. Joining us is Alexander Joyce with ReJoyce Financial. Alex, today we're talking about annuities. Annuities, they're prevalent, but I think oftentimes they're misunderstood. There's still some misconceptions. Maybe the old stigma, when I die, all that money from the annuities is going to go back to the insurance company. Not true anymore?
No, well, I mean, some of them still operate that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some organizations, some companies, some advisors still, that's still a thing, right? It's called annuitization. Now, annuitization, a tough word, means you're forfeiting your principal to the insurance company in return for a lifetime income stream. Depending on when you are called home, that income stream then stops and that principal is then lost. However, very important to take away that our practice does not organize those. We do not sell those. We do not offer those. We do not recommend those. Now, we still think that annuities are just like any security or any insurance product, if you will, when working with a licensed professional to sell those. I think it's very important to understand what the overall goal is. Now, the last couple of years, they've become very popular because the market has become very volatile and very unpredictable from a fixed income standpoint. Meaning that, the variation or the correlation between bonds and interest rates, well, we've seen interest rates rise, and so that forces bond values down, which was the conservative side of somebody's portfolio. Now, if someone is still conservative, they still want safety. They still want predictability, and so they still want some certainty. And what other vehicles are out there to guarantee that type of safety, if you will, and peace of mind? So annuities have grown in popularity, especially those that are called indexed annuities, which work in the way where you are indexed to the market with some upside, but no downside. And so principal is protected with, again, an income stream if you so desire. Also, as rates have gone up, CDs and things like that have gone up, and so it's made annuities versus CDs very popular as well, from a term for rate perspective, term rate, Annuities are generally outperform a bank CD because they make more money, And so, and then there's those that are like variable annuities, And so we don't really get into that.
Okay, because there are so many different kinds. There's immediate, deferred, variable. It's like, how do you know which one is better?
Yeah, you really, for the public, annuity is a bad word, and I certainly understand, and I certainly know why. It is the baby boomer generation's parents that got stung by the launch of that vehicle. They have evolved and they have grown. Listen, I'm not saying that they're good for anybody. I'm not saying they're bad for anybody. I'm not saying stocks are great or stocks are bad. What I am saying is understanding an individual's priority long-term goals to build a plan, a roadmap, and there's just a vehicle that could help somebody get there.
Absolutely. And I know there are advantages. There could be, it avoids probate, things like that. You just have to be okay with the risk, especially if it's variable. You
do. And the liquidity risk, everything has risk. There's risk in everything. There's risk in not doing anything, There's opportunity risk, if you will. And so, once we understand as you mentioned, the risk, the exposure, what they're trying to do, and we can build it. It is, annuities are one of those things that love them or hate them. A lot of people have them, a lot of people don't have them. Same with different companies and different organizations. Love them and hate them, Are we trying to build a portfolio out of green energy, What are we trying to do? And so I think that once we understand that, and we understand what the goals are, and we understand again what the roadmap looks like. We have to start somewhere, Heather, right?
Yes.
And I think that's the opportunity that we're looking for.
Yeah, Alex, this is a full-time job, right? I mean, I could not consume all this and understand it, and that's why you guys are here. This is the point of what you do. You really need to hire a professional. What I love about you guys, you're a holistic firm. You do it all. And it doesn't cost a thing just to come in and talk to you.
It does not.
Okay.
It does not. Some people, I think that cost, as I always say, is an issue in the absence of value. We built our practice. I built my firm on the foundation of relationships. I started my firm 12 years ago with 0 clients, and have built just a magnificent machine built for the public. And I think that more than anything, I'm here to educate the community on, finance in general. And that just happens to be, planning first, investing later. Without a plan and a direction, there is no investment, right? And so I think that starting that conversation sooner than later will help anyone get where they want to go faster.
Yeah, it is. It's all about trust, building that relationship, and a lot of people are just scared to do it. If somebody is interested in talking to you or somebody on your team, what is the best way for them to go about it?
The number is always on the screen, 317-903-9157. Just take that leap of faith and call today.
Yeah, and don't try and study it all yourself. Go to Alex. He's the man. Great information, Alex. And we are going to have a whole lot more coming up next.
Next on the Retirement Halftime Show, don't make these common mistakes when creating an estate plan. They could derail your entire arrangement. Later, how to determine how much money you should save for some upcoming goals, such as a vacation, a new car, or even a home. This is the Retirement Halftime Show.
Don't let anxiety ruin your retirement. Get a second opinion about your current plan. Call the experts at ReJoyce Financial today at 317-903-9157 and see if you're on the right track.
Your financial advisor may have done a great job getting you up the mountain and accumulating wealth, but are they the right one to help you spend it? ReJoyce Financial has a team of wealth strategists, tax professionals, and estate planners that can help you make the most out of what you've saved. A second opinion costs nothing. Call 317-903-9157. That's 317-903-9157 and rejoice in your retirement. You're watching the Retirement Halftime Show, powered by ReJoyce Financial.
You're watching the Retirement Halftime Show. I'm your host, Alexander Joyce, and joined with me today is Alan Kowalski. He is our estate planning attorney here at the office, as well as wealth strategist. Many of you know him from, of course, our show. Others know you from meeting with them in person, which is awesome. One of the big topics, Alan, as you know, probably more than anybody, is, the topic of estate planning. People fail to plan. They really don't plan to fail. And estate planning is one of those topics where it's like, well, I really don't want to talk about it. Or it's, we'll get to that later. Of course, when is a will executed? Nobody wants to think about that. And so most people just don't. Right? They just don't really think about estate planning as a protection or as a legacy planning tool. And so what we wanted to do today is just kind of narrow down simply, right, as I always try to do for the people listening or engaging with us, simply understanding the definition of estate planning, maybe kind of give us some background or context on the top 5 issues, if you will, or things that people really need to understand before strategizing or building an overall estate plan for their family and their goals.
You mean things people might omit and forget to do, or maybe some common mistakes?
Common mistakes.
Okay. Thank you, Alex. Well, just for a little context, there are a myriad of mistakes. There's unlimited mistakes we can make in any kind of planning. But just picking out 5 for a little bit of context. As I tell clients when I meet with them, estate planning, of course, includes your estate documents, such as your will, your powers of attorney, your Indiana Health Directive, and for some folks, a trust, a revocable living trust in their core planning. But what's also very important as part of their comprehensive planning is how they own their property, how their property is titled, and also how their assets that have beneficiary designations, how those beneficiary designations are set. We really need to coordinate all that for a nice, comprehensive, smooth, efficient plan to accomplish their goals in the most timely and cost-effective way. Okay, that said, so first common mistake that we see a lot of is, not updating beneficiaries. All right, and the obvious example would be, of course, you have life changes, major life changes, marriages, births, deaths, divorce. The common mistake, it's the one they taught us about in law school, was you are divorced now and you forget to take your ex-wife off of your beneficiary designation on your retirement assets or your life insurance.
Common sense, not common practice. We see it every day.
Right, we see it every day, and at a minimum, it's going to create some litigation, possibly, and some adjustments, some costs, some unnecessary delay. Possibly also not naming. Another common mistake is you may name a beneficiary, but you don't name a contingent beneficiary. And then if that beneficiary, let's say, passes away before you do, the unintended consequence could be what was going to pass by beneficiary designation and avoid going under your will and possibly triggering a probate is now going to be caught up in your will, possibly trigger a probate, which you may have already planned to avoid. But now that you're not passing by beneficiary designation properly, you've got a probate. And again, the will might be a little bit different in terms of where it sends the property. Thirdly, you may not have a will. You may have beneficiary designations, then you may die intestate. Right. Something else we're going to hit on a little bit later, but those beneficiary designations are critical to keep updated for life changes, as we go through life and things do change.
Understood. And I think that, most people think about a will or a trust, and they're like, well, get to the meat and potatoes of this thing. What do I need, right? Do I need a will? And do I need a trust? And it really, from my experience, of course, and I'm not an attorney, I'm a certified estate planner, but however, that's why you're here, to really give us clear, defined definition of which one is for who and what does the family dynamic look like.
Right.
Which is the purpose of our firm, which happens to be planning. Right? Plan first, invest later. What is the philosophy of what we're trying to do so we can build a solid, strong roadmap to get there? I think what most people do is they kind of jump into this thing, whether it be money, savings, and assets, diversification, and they hold on to that belief forever. Right? And what we know certain is that things happen and change along that way. And what most people don't do is they don't adapt or they don't really make changes to their overall philosophy and plan along the way, along that journey, if you will. And that's why we're here. And that's why you're here. Right? Having this holistic approach, as a lot of people know, right? This one-stop shop, as my clients call it, isn't there to just give and build strategy. It's there to work with the family, understand what the relationship looks like along the journey, and we do just that. Estate planning and understanding 1 through 5, if you will, the most common mistakes or the most common things that people oversee when building an estate plan. It's just helpful. It's education. And so I really appreciate you doing this with us, Alan. If there's any questions about estate planning, of course, pick up the phone, call us, schedule a consult, schedule a visit, as I always call it. Take that leap of faith and act today. Stay tuned, folks. You're watching the Retirement Halftime Show.
Still to come on the Retirement Halftime Show, no boss, no board. Starting your own business can be a dream come true. An Indiana business owner shares his advice on getting through the startup phase. But next, a Hamilton County organization is building rapport with teenagers, one person at a time. Andrea Moorhead reports on the mentorship program teaching life lessons. This is the Retirement Halftime Show. Don't let anxiety ruin your retirement. Get a second opinion about your current plan. Call the experts at ReJoyce Financial today at 317-903-9157 and see if you're on the right track.
Our friend is back. Her compassion, her connection to the community, that smile.
I'm all about a pivot.
ReJoyce Financial is proud to welcome Andrea Moorhead as our community impact anchor, with stories seen on the Retirement Halftime Show.
What would you say to someone who's contemplating becoming a volunteer? How would you encourage them?
Follow Andrea and make ReJoyce Financial a part of your family too.
You're watching the Retirement Halftime Show, powered by ReJoyce Financial.
ReJoyce Financial gives back with Andrea Moorhead, highlighting the people and organizations making life better in our community.
You're watching the Retirement Halftime Show. Your host, Alexander Joyce, here with Andrea Moorhead, our community impact anchor. And let's talk about this mentorship program for the youth that we've been just really talking about.
Absolutely. Well, the phrase, it takes a village to raise a child. Well, in Hamilton Southeastern School District, they really have this unique program that is connecting mentors with students, and they are positively making a huge difference. Take a look.
I know how to parent my kids better because I just listened to Joel and what he has told me and how we communicate.
Val Crook is a father of 3 young children, and his extended family includes the addition of a high school mentee.
What we want deep down inside is to make a difference. And so mentorship is one way to do that.
He's one of the hundreds of mentors with YMI, the Youth Mentoring Initiative. It matches Hamilton Southeastern school students, grades 5 through 12, with a caring adult.
We all know research shows 4 to 6 caring adults in the life of a child can make all the difference.
Brittany Rayburn is YMI's executive director.
So we're really just looking to be that extra support person. And sometimes it's just helpful to have another adult to talk to who isn't mom or dad.
At first blush, you may be thinking, this program is for troubled kids, but it's not. It's for everyone and anyone who wants to share their life to change a life.
If you need a mentor and you're a kid, something's wrong with you.
Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah.
And so that's what I always thought, until I realized that Bill Gates has a mentor, and my father has a mentor, and I have really good friends that are in leadership that have mentors.
It's all about advocacy and investing in our future.
But we're there to support the kids who are straight A students and who just haven't found a way to fit in at school yet, or they're struggling with peer relationships, or how to manage their stress. That's something we see a lot.
YMI's mission is to have adults in the community share their lived experiences with our young people. Val is from St. Kitts, who started his entrepreneurial endeavors at a young age on the island.
Where I lived, the hotels were just a stone's throw away. I would go down, I'd bus tables, I sold pigeons, I did all kinds of stuff. It was unbelievable.
Sharing his background is the purpose of mentorship, which helps kids understand that as adults, we've been there, and we're here to guide you through life's ups and downs. Most importantly, we hear you.
Using his voice to communicate and articulate what he wants, what he needs, what he doesn't like, what he likes, so that people understand, right? Yeah. And just being patient.
YMI needs more adults like Val to volunteer as a mentor for 1 hour a week during the school year.
I think any school administrator would tell you if you can get volunteers from the community in your building pouring into the lives of the kids, it's just going to make a more positive community and a more positive school system for everyone.
We're really talking about a village. We're all a village, and we're all connected. And let's show each other kindness and love and connection and relationship, right?
Yeah, we like to say mentor students build community.
Yes, the program builds relationships.
He loves video, broadcast. He loves AV, that's his thing. So he wants to be a producer.
Val and Joel have been together since he was a 7th grader. He'll be a senior this fall.
We're walking through that path, and we're talking about that, and he shares as he goes, and I'm a listening ear to just help guide and lead in one direction or another.
Their bond extends beyond mentor and mentee.
I take Caribbean food for Joel in the summer. His mom makes Indian food for us. I mean, it's like you said, it's family. We've built a relationship all around, and relationships are important.
All of the YMI programs are free for students and their families.
We receive generous funding from local foundations, cities, schools support individuals.
And with an annual budget of $300,000, more funding is needed. It costs about $1,200 per year to sponsor each match.
We served about 215 students last year, so you can do the math there that there's significant funding that we need to raise.
They would like to expand from their current 9 schools to include some of the elementary schools. Imagine being part of a child's life and watching them develop with your positive influence. As a mentor giving back, you'll also receive, like Val from Joel.
Hey Val, you never judge me. I can tell you anything. Well, guess what? I want my kids to be able to say the same thing. And I learned that process through just sitting with Joel on a weekly basis.
An hour a week nets a positively big impact.
It doesn't take that much time. And the impact you have, oh man, it's the internal reward is unbelievable.
And of course, if you would like to give some donations, some funds, because they need it, in addition to volunteering, give them a call. You can connect to them on our website at rejoycefinancial.com/Andrea.
We appreciate it, Andrea. Stay tuned, folks. There's more show to come.
Next, becoming your own boss sounds great, but before you quit your job, an Indiana entrepreneur has advice on getting started.
Get a second opinion about your retirement plan. Schedule a no-cost, no-obligation visit with the experts at ReJoyce Financial. Call 317-903-9157 now and rejoice in your retirement.
Retirement isn't a game to lose. Follow Alexander Joyce in the ReJoyce Financial Playbook to win in retirement. Call 317-903-9157 and schedule a no-cost, no-obligation visit now.
You're watching the Retirement Halftime Show, powered by ReJoyce Financial.
I'm Alexander Joyce. I'm here with Josh Ross. He's the president and CEO of a company called K-Launch, an artificial intelligence conversational organization company. And Josh, I really appreciate your time. And one of the things I want to pinpoint for a lot of our viewers, listeners, they've got ideas. They've got ideas to start a business, right? And you've had and have grown in your business leaps and bounds where a lot of people wish they were, right? But they don't know the blood, sweat, and tears, and the prayer moments that have come with that, right?
Many times on your knees.
I'm telling you, right? God, please. And so I think that one of the big things I want to address is the startup phase. You know, some people, truth be told, in my opinion, right? These are opinions. They never even make it out of the startup phase.
Yeah.
I say that because they have great ideas, but they just don't have great execution. Mm-hmm. And some people don't want a big organization. Some people want a really big organization. Some people don't have any guidance, mentorship, leadership. And so what should that, let's just say you want to go from 0 to hero, or from 1 to 10, if you will. I know 10 is not a conversation we want to have today, more focused on the 0 to 1 to 5.
Sure.
The startup phase. How long should it last? What should go into it?
Well, there's really no time frame for the startup phase, but the thing is that it's really getting with those advisors early and finding out what do you want to be doing and how do you want to structure your business.
Sure.
Because as you move from the first days of opening your doors in any business, you're going to be doing a lot on your own, right? You're not going to have a bunch of employees. You're more than likely going to be the one that's stewarding all these things and interacting. And then as you mature, you're going to need to be able to delegate, and that delegation, be able to push things down, help people, hire great people that can help within your organization scale and grow the organization. So that's really critical. And then you get to a point where, as you continue to move forward, there are layers in an organization, and so culturally you have to build directly beneath you and then all the way out, culturally all the way down, cascading throughout the organization. So those are critical things. But I think, like we've talked about many times, the advisory early is so critical. And then understanding, like I said, where do you want to take this as an individual? Are you comfortable with just a small business, which is great because that's what fuels America, right?
That's right. That's right.
So maybe that's what you want to do, or maybe you get rolling and you say, hey, I really want to scale this thing. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how many people to bring on. So meeting with someone like ReJoyce on that would be great to just have those conversations and say, hey, this is kind of what we're thinking here. This is the strategy we have for our company. Letting somebody weigh in on that.
Yeah, what kind of organization should it be? What does the structure look like? What is the time frame? What does the capital look like? What are we trying to accomplish? Is there risk, reward, leverage, opportunity, right? And I think that those are things that entrepreneurs with big vision, I think that they very often, in my opinion, they kind of don't really realize that those other things are long, right? And I think you said that they are the doers, right? They're very passionate about it. They're the drivers, right? And so I think that the tax issue, the legal issue, the structure, the business, the scale, the accounting, the operating agreement, right? The roadmap, the tools, the band, right? The width, the depth. Those are things that they just don't see, right? And I think it takes someone that has been through that, knows how to build that. Because listen, I can tell you the great things I'm good at, but I can also tell you the things that I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not the guy walking around my house with a tool belt and climbing a ladder to get on my roof and assess hail damage, right? Yeah. Not that guy. Yeah. And so, but there are people out there that do that, and I have to put trust in their structure, and I have to put trust in their advice, if you will. And I have to go with that, right? And
I just can't overemphasize the importance of that operating agreement, that structure, that planning, that strategy. because you just don't. I've lived it. I've been there, and early on, I'm just driving off passion, and all these things are going on.
It's
and
exciting.
I'm going to make it happen.
That's right.
And then you realize that, man, that strategy is so critical. And so if I could just weigh in any way, it would be to make sure as you look to start a business, you get with great advisors.
That's right.
You have people that are weighing into that strategy with you, because when you create something great, you're going to need that structure.
You have to have it.
Yeah.
I mean, especially if you want it to be tangible.
That's right.
I mean, from a legal perspective, if you go from 0 to hero, let's talk about number 10, and you want to sell that business, the first thing that anyone's going to ask is, can this operation run without you?
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
And let's take a look at the operating agreement to see so, right? And they're going to look at your financials. And so I think that is so critical to understand, the structure, the mission, what it takes to make your goals and your dreams come true.
Yeah.
So, Josh Ross, I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Stay tuned, folks. There's more show to come.
Today's tip of the week for stronger financial health. Many goals involve money, and the only way you can achieve them is if you have enough. Here are some steps you can follow to determine how much money you should save for your goals. Step 1 is to define your goal. Are you dreaming of a tropical vacation, a new car, or even owning your dream home? Then determine the timeline, whether it's 2 years or several decades. Setting a target date is vital. Now evaluate your financial situation. What can you afford to save each month? Balance that with the cost of the goal. Does the savings plan meet the timeline? If not, you may need to reevaluate the goal or the timeline. If all is good, consider investing your savings for higher returns. But remember to balance risk and reward. Make sure you protect yourself with an emergency fund in any unforeseen circumstances. Finally, review and adjust. Life changes, and so should your savings plan. It's essential to take time to plan, set realistic targets, and make consistent efforts to reach your goal. That's today's tip of the week for stronger financial health.
You're watching the Retirement Halftime Show, powered by ReJoyce Financial.
Thank you for watching the Retirement Halftime Show. If you have questions about today's show, give us a call, send us a text, or go to our website. Most importantly, maintain your lead in retirement. I'm Alexander Joyce, and I'll see you next time.
Dream of retirement full of traveling to exotic places? Or is your dream driving through the countryside in an RV? Maybe you just want to spend time with your loved ones. Whatever your desires are, make them happen. The retirement planning experts at ReJoyce Financial have retired thousands of people into their dream retirement. You can be next. Take the first step today and schedule a no-cost, no-obligation visit. Call 317-903-9157 and let's discuss your dream retirement. Then let the team of ReJoyce Financial craft a plan that makes it happen. You don't have to plan for retirement on your own. ReJoyce Financial can help you every step of the way. Take a leap of faith. Call today and rejoice in your retirement.